Event registration happens through Cub Connect. The event submission process is split into two parts. This video covers the second half of the process and the items that the RSO events policy requires. We begin after the photo upload page, where we get information straight from the events policy. This page gives reminders for what is considered an RSO event and if the event is considered social or non-social. When the question is answered on this page, the registration will take you to the page corresponding to your answer. We will first choose a non-social event. The first question on the non-social registration page asks for an event description. This is different from the initial description in that it is only used administratively. Here we ask that you describe the event from setup to cleanup. We often verify reservations and similar things with other offices on campus, and having thorough descriptions in this box will allow us to get an approval completed quicker. The next question asks whether your event will happen on or off campus. Most non-social events will happen on UCA's campus, but sometimes meetings can be held with other groups in a larger location than we can accommodate, a retreat happens out of town, etc. The registration also asks for a rain location if applicable. If there are any non-RSO or UCA groups partnering with this event, please list them here. Sometimes that can be an academic department on campus or a philanthropic or a religious group off campus. The final questions are whether the event is open or closed and what the anticipated attendance is. Most non-social events are closed to non-members, but not always. If we have questions, we'll ask them once the submission is sent for approval. The next button on this page will take you to a final review page. We will cover that page as we submit the social event page for review, as they are the same. The social event registration page begins like the non-social page. Again, we ask that you be very specific here in your setup process, how the event will roll out, cleanup procedures during or after the event, etc. There is no text limit in this box, so please be as descriptive as you can, especially if some things might not make sense initially and we might have to ask questions about them. The next question again asks about where the event will be happening and for a rain location. Next, again, we ask about any non-RSO or UCA groups that might be involved in the event. Most often for social events, we see this being alumni groups or groups from other institutions around the area that will be getting together with our students. We ask whether the event will be open or closed and what the anticipated attendance will be. Open events can have a larger number of participants, but there might be other stipulations in place for event management from either UCAPD or student life. Closed events are limited to organization membership times 2 or combined membership total of all the sponsoring organizations. The next section asks about police and security. As covered in the PowerPoint at the beginning of this training course, social events often require security. UCAPD Captain Jamie Booth should be contacted for all social events and will ask for contact information for any agency that is being used outside of UCAPD. Here you can choose an option if you've already contacted Captain Booth about your event, and you can list the agency and contact for a non-UCA security agency. If you've forgotten to contact Captain Booth prior to the event registration, you can choose Contacted, Waiting to Hear, and send him an email as soon as you finish the submission. If you choose that alcohol will be present at the event, after you finish this page, you'll be taken to a final page that asks you to submit your organization's policy on alcohol at events and procedures that are in place to minimize the risk of alcohol-related events. Next, you will list the names and phone numbers of the event monitors that will be assigned to this event. These names and phone numbers will only be used should something happen at the event and officials need to get in contact with the monitors. More information for the responsibilities of monitors will be covered in the final video of this training. The last two questions cover transportation and live or contractual entertainment. If you indicate that transportation will be provided, you will need to complete a bus agreement conduct form and turn it into student life prior to the event. Live or contractual entertainment usually refers to large concerts that involve a large payment for the act. These contracts should be reviewed by Kendra Regier, Director of Student Activities. Finally, there is a reminder that you are more than welcome to hang a banner outside the Ronnie Williams Student Center to advertise your events. The link to the reservation form is here. We will choose the next button and move on to add reviewers and finish our submission. The next page asks that you add reviewers. We require that you add the UCA email of the president of your organization. If you have other members of your organization that you'd like to be involved in the submission process for this event, you can add up to 4 other UCA email addresses. If you are the president of this organization, you can leave this blank. The final page allows you to review your event submission. You can click back to a previous page if there is something you need to edit, Add a comment that will be added to the submission when it is reviewed, and submit the event when you're ready. The event will go to Student Life for approval. We will add reviewers and ask questions as needed. An approval message with final comments and requirements will be sent to the submitter and all reviewers. The event will only show up on calendars once it has been approved. This concludes part 2 of the event registration process.